Hey everyone, this video is a part 2 of a video I have made a while ago. It must be like almost a year ago, maybe not, I don't know. I'll link it below and there'll be a little info card here where you can click on it if you want to see part 1. And today I'm gonna talk to you about more differences between the UK and Germany, because the longer I live here, the more things come to light that are just different. Let's just get straight into it because we've got quite a bit to go through. So the first thing that I have noticed, I've noticed this earlier actually, like it's not been just recently, but I just forgot to mention it last time I think, is partying late. This is a thing that is just so funny to me because all of the British people I talk to that go to be in like Central Europe, for example, they always come back and tell me this is like blew their mind. And it's the fact that Germans party really late. So again, this is just my experience. I know that there's places here that are open until like 8 AM, like Fabric or something, but most club nights that I've ever been to close at 3 and they usually open between 10 and 11. So the way people go out here, like generally what I see, is that they will meet up with friends in a pub at like 8 o'clock maybe, have a few drinks, and then around 10, 11 they'll go on their way to the club night, go into the club, and usually the club is the busiest at like 1 AM, half midnight, kind of like that. And then people start leaving around 2:30, and then the club closes at 3. And that's usually how people party. Not in Germany. In Germany, like, I mean, I left Germany when I was 20, so I didn't have a lot of time where I was actually allowed to go into clubs. But from the times I have been in clubs, which isn't that many times, but I have a lot of friends that went clubbing a lot, and I know this is true, I know this is real. People will usually meet up with friends around 9, 10, and then have a few drinks at someone's house until midnight, 1, and they won't even leave for the club night until 2, and then it's the busiest around 4, and usually closes at 6. So every time that I have, German people over in England, in London, and they want to go out, they're always really confused that we go out so early and they don't really understand it. And the same way the other way around, every time some of my British friends will go to like Germany, they come back and they're like, why do you guys party so late? Like they just get so tired and they don't understand why we do it so late. I don't really know why this is a thing, but it's definitely something I noticed. The next thing is also quite funny. It's Cashiers speed, if you can call it that. So I actually worked in a supermarket in Germany for 2 years while I was in school, just to make some extra money. And the way that you are trained to be a cashier in Germany is speed over anything. Like, yeah, we say hi to the person, but then you just scan it and it's just going. It doesn't matter if they can actually keep up. You just scan everything through, and usually they have like a divider at the end so that if the person isn't quick enough, you just flop the divider over and then they can go on the side and pack later and you can already do the next person. So it's all about speed, and people shopping know this, so they are really quick packing it in and they just know. Not in England. Like every supermarket I've been to here, for one exception, 2 exceptions that I'll tell you in a minute, cashiers are kind of slow. Like they just kind of, they usually talk to you more, but they will usually just do it really slow. They're like, scan it, put it, look at you, take the next one, scan it. And I'm just, because I'm really fast, I'm just packing, I'm just waiting for the next item. I'm just like, dude, like, can you just go? Like, and it's just really funny. But 2 exceptions, Lidl and Aldi, because they are German. I think they are trained the German way. I was in Lidl 2 days ago in London, and it was just so funny because obviously there's mostly British people shopping there. They just can't keep up with the cashier speed, and you could just see there was this one woman that just really couldn't keep up, and it was quite funny. And then once she finally packed everything, she started to like try and pay with loads of coins, and the cashier was literally just like losing it, and it was so funny. And I was like the only person that could actually keep up with their speed, and I had all my stuff packed before they were actually, ready to charge me. So that's just something I noticed. I don't know what's better or worse. I mean, if you are German, you just get really annoyed when they're slow. But I guess if you're from any other country, then you'd just be annoyed at how fast they're doing it because it's really hard to keep up. The next thing is going to be, again, very subjective, but I just have to mention it because it is something I genuinely noticed. So I've had 4 or 5 jobs in London since I moved here. and I just feel like the work ethic is just different. This is not to say obviously that British work ethic isn't good. It's just very different. Like in Germany, the way people are brought up is usually you have to deliver, you have to get good education, and then if you get a job you have to really put your mind to it, and you usually get instructions, but you usually expected to just work really hard on your own accord. So like you do internships in school usually, and I did 2 internships in school, and every time they really expected me to really work hard, and I wasn't really told much. They just expected me to do it by myself, to just figure out what I could do. And in England, the jobs I've had were just not as demanding, and I was always really surprised when, I felt kind of bad about my work sometimes. Like I knew I hadn't done as much as I could have done, but I usually just got a lot of like praise for it, and my bosses were always like, oh, you did really well last month, and I just, in my head I was like, geez, I think I would have been fired in Germany by now. So I think it's more of a bit more laid back maybe in the UK. Obviously this depends on where you work again. I'm sure there is really demanding positions here as well, but just from the general attitude, I have just not really seen that kind of same strictness in the UK. The next one is something that I know a lot of people talk about all the time, but Germans generally don't believe this, or they don't ever notice it, but it is the fact that Germans stare. And I've heard this a lot because I watch videos like the ones I make myself sometimes, and British people, when they move to Germany, always say that German people stare. Like just on buses or in waiting rooms, they stare. And I really never noticed this until I went back to Germany recently. So I had lived in the UK for like 4 years, and for the first time I came back to Germany for an extended period of time, and I really noticed that people stare. Like it's not like they just look at you like this, but in England, when you are on the underground or the bus and you like look around and you accidentally meet someone's gaze, you like immediately look away like it never happened, and you never talk about it. Not in Germany. I was on a bus and I looked around and accidentally looked into someone's eyes, and I looked away, but they still kept looking at me, and I was just kind of like really awkwardly, and then like a minute later they were still looking, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, like makes me feel really uncomfortable. But I think it is something you only notice if you are away from Germany for a while and come back. And I don't think they mean it in a bad way. It's just like they just don't care. They just make eye contact and they're like, oh well, you're looking at me, I'm looking at you, so there you go. So that's a small thing, but it was funny to me because I noticed it for the very first time like 2 months ago. And the last thing is being reserved. Now both countries, Germany and the UK, are seen to be quite shy countries where people don't really do small talk, where you're not really, not the American like, hi, how are you, blah, blah, blah. That just doesn't exist for both of the countries. But what I have noticed is that I actually think the UK are more reserved than Germany in a few ways. So for example, in Germany, when you just walk past someone, even if you don't know them on like a pavement, you are expected to say good day. Even if you don't know them. In England, I've never actually really had that experience, except in like small villages where it's just like customary, but not in London. But like in Germany, if I'm in my home country, when I'm in my hometown, which is like 250,000 inhabitants, it's still customary to just say good day to people you cross. Or if you go to the doctor and you wait in the waiting room, you are expected to come in the waiting room and say hi everyone to everyone, and they'll say hi to you back. And then once the doctor has seen you, if you are passing the waiting room again to go outside, you would pop your head back in and just say goodbye to everyone, even if you wouldn't have had to go through the room again. Like, it's just seen that you have to greet people, and I've just never had that in the UK. Like, it's almost like talking here is like a bad thing. Like, so that might be quite a small thing, but it is something that I have noticed. And these are some more differences between Germany and the UK. Please don't take anything I said offensively, because that happened last time and I don't know why, because obviously all these observations are my own observations, and whether or not you agree with them does not make them any less true for me. So yeah. Again, I love both Germany and the UK. I think they're both great countries and I love living in both countries. So it's, you know, it's just observations, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.